Hello, this is the Anime Outlook, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic of world building in World Trigger. Now, World Trigger has sort of a unique way of building its world. It's, let's say, a mix of mystery and knowledge. Is it better than One Piece's world building? Well, that's up to you. Personally, I don't think so, but I'll explain what I feel about World Trigger's world building and how it's a bit odd, but in the way the universe is built with its building blocks. But first, do please subscribe and like, as I'm hoping for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, with a nice prize for the World Trigger fans. So please do like and subscribe, and moving on to world building. So World Trigger is initially a universe in which the rules are very explicit and set in their ways, from how the power system works, in which I do have another video on, and in the way the whole world works. So in World Trigger you have two main areas, let's say, of the universe. You have the Earth in its solar system, then you have something called the neighborhood. Now the neighborhood is sort of a, let's say, pocket dimension that flows parallel to the solar system and Earth. Now these are the two main areas. So let's focus on the Earth. The Earth is modern, and the only place on Earth that we actually visit is Mikado City. Now this is initially one of the strange parts of the world building, and that's because normally with most other series such as Naruto, One Piece, and like Yona of the Dawn, you're given, let's say, a whole display of what your main planet or country is like, and you're given, let's say, a very specific map, saying with Naruto that here's the border of the Fire Nation, or not Fire Nation, the Land of Fire, the Land of Wind. You've got this map given to you by the author. But what's really interesting about World Trigger is that you don't have any exploration of the main town of Mikado City, and that this is the only town that people from the neighborhood can reach, so there's no point in exploring any further. Now you've got your own maps of the town, and you've got your zones which neighbors can spawn from, more likely. Very normal, very typical, just Japanese town. But then you've got the neighborhood, and the neighborhood is really interesting world building wise, I think. The fact that we know practically nothing about the neighborhood other than a brief map we have been shown. Now you might see this map as reliable, but I don't agree with that. And this may sound like terrible world building in your eyes, but to me, I find it rather interesting and kind of enticing as world building elements. Now, the story doesn't have a narrator or a third-person view, such as in Hunter x Hunter and so forth, to tell us the true facts of the world. We know everything from the point of views of our characters in World Trigger. So knowledge that our characters have is the knowledge we have. So when we look at this map of the neighborhood, a lot of series would say that this is the set map, this is all there is to the universe, and these are the borders of the world. However, for World Trigger, the potential is practically limitless, and that's because this map is given to us by Traveller, someone who hasn't gone everywhere, someone who's only gone to select places. So let's say world building's like a cake. They've given you like half of the cake. You've got the base and the filling, or it's a bit more of a sandwich, I don't know, but this food analogy does work. You've got the base and you've got your filling, and that leaves us, the audience, to give the topping and to use theories and think about what else is out there and the potential uses of the neighborhood in the story, because there are limits that are set in the world because of the power system and the fact that neighborhood planets aren't formed like normal planets. They are made by stars, or otherwise known as mother triggers. Now this means that they can't be huge planets like Earth. They're more like very large islands and countries. However, depending on what mother trigger or star you use, the planet can take any form and any environment. So meaning new planets could be formed at any time, just orbiting and floating around in the empty space of this pocket dimension. Now this makes some good world building, because what we see of the map isn't the only possibilities of the world. They're only what the Traveller's seen. When talking about the potential of the world building, it's limitless. It's very similar to One Piece in the fact, like, you've got all these different islands of different effects because of the climate and how the Grand Line works. It's very similar because you can literally put any planet in the neighborhood that they could visit, and you could do whatever you want with that environment. And this is the strength of the World Trigger world building. It's the mystery and letting your audience do the thinking. It essentially creates a universe without actually exploring it or giving us any information other than some bits about the antagonist planet. The world building is all about, let's say, it's all about creating a snowballing effect within the story. Most stories, you know pretty much a lot about the world from the get-go, and then villains will interact with the system and manipulate the system of the world. That's usually what typically happens. But with World Trigger, we're getting this snowballing, similar to, let's say, maybe Attack on Titan. There's stuff out there that you just don't know about. And as well as this, World Trigger does have a lot of moving parts within the current world, within this one city. The city and the neighborhood that are always in flow, because without spoiling anything to someone that isn't caught up, World Trigger's a universe in which the moving parts are politics of border, aka the good guy agency, and the conflicts between the antagonists and protagonists, creating problems in the enemy empire and their politics, and making deals with different planets, and the acts of war just accumulating and building up new strategies, new acts of warfare, new political problems, as well as problems with the media. It's ever so flowing, and what World Trigger shows is that not only on a wild scale, it's on a very personal scale in which this world flows because of the interactions between all the characters. Everyone is always in knowledge about something going on in border. In World Trigger, time doesn't stand still, and a long game is always unfolding with plots developing and new foreshadowing occurring. There's always more going on than it seems. Anyway, this is my brief thoughts on the World Trigger world building, in that it creates a universe in which everything is relatively possible and pieces are moving everywhere and anywhere, kind of making a limited universe limitless, which I find rather interesting, and with the lack of knowledge we have to pull that off, it's quite something. Either way, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I'll be making some videos on Toilet Bound Hanako-kun soon, and of course World Trigger, so hopefully you enjoy those series and stick around. See you next time. Love you all. Bye.